Brothers and sisters of Islam, our talk today, inshallah, is about the good news and happiness for those who have lived and living to witness the month of Ramadan, as nothing can be more joyful and welcome for the believer than having the opportunity and the chance to worship and observe in goodness days and night of such a blessed period of time. We are all fortunate, we are all lucky, and this khutbah, inshallah, is all about that for those who take notice and for those who take advantage of that special time. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, was the first to congratulate and show gratitude for that chance, for that opportunity. And he is the most honorable, the most noble of mankind. Imam Ahmad narrated on the authority of Abi Hurairah, may God be pleased with both of them, that the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, said, congratulating his companion, he said, the month of Ramadan has arrived. It is a blessed month where Allah ordained for you its fasting. In it, the doors of heavens are opened. The doors of hell are closed. The devils are chained. And a night which is better than 1,000 months. Whoever deprived its bounty, whoever deprived the bounty of that night, is the ultimate loser, is the ultimate of deprivation from the goodness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Today, inshallah, our Imam is giving all of us the good news which Muhammad, peace be upon him, delivered 14th century ago with the arrival of the month of Ramadan, and living to witness that precious bounty of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to all of us, and for us who actually take that bounty and make the best, inshallah, out of. The scholar said that that hadith we just mentioned for Abi Hurairah is the substance why Muslims, why believers congratulate one another with the coming of the month of Ramadan, which is the utmost to be congratulated for. There is nothing you can be congratulated for more than actually living and have lived to witness this opportunity, inshallah. Imam Ibn Rajab said, elaborating on such a blessing to all of us, he said, how the believers would not be congratulated for the openings of the doors of heaven. How the sinners would not be congratulated for the closings of the door of hell. And how is the wise would not be congratulated for a time where the devils are chained. And where you can find a blessed time would be even close to this time of the month of Ramadan. All these questions Imam Ibn Rajab elaborated to open our eyes and our hearts for about to experience and witness and take notice of. And for that, happiness for the living to witness Ramadan is the real joy. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in Surah Yunus verse 58, Allah said, what can be translated, say, the bounty of Allah and in His mercy, in that let them rejoice. In the bounty of Allah and in His mercy, in that let them rejoice. That is better than the wealth they are hoarding. That is better than the wealth they hoard. Imam Hilal ibn Yassaf said, to Islam which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guided us to, and the Quran which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala taught us, in that let them rejoice. In that let them celebrate, inshallah. In Ramadan, in these blessed days and nights, conviction increase with fasting, reciting the Quran, and the servant gets closer to Allah with voluntary prayer and spending in charity. Imam Ibn Rajab also said, living to witness Ramadan and its fasting is a great bounty to whoever take advantage and utilize the virtue of the blessed time. The time will come and will go. May Allah make us all, inshaAllah, among those who take advantage of the time, because those who will be deprived are the ultimate loser. Then Imam Ibn Rajab, after he mentioned such a uniqueness of that time and the advantage for whoever is capable to utilize it, he cited a hadith, he cited a story. He said, Imam Ahmad and Ibn Majah narrated on authority of Talha ibn Ubaidillah, may God be pleased with all of them, that two men from the tribe of Quda'ah came to the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, and they became Muslims at the same time. One of the two was more of a worker, more of a worker in faith than the other. He went struggling for the sake of Allah and became a martyr. And the other lived another year after that, then he died. Talha continues saying, I have seen in a dream, Talha is talking about a dream he saw. While I was standing by the doors of heaven, I can see both men we just talked about. A guard came out from heaven and gave a permission to the one who died in his bed to enter into heaven first. Then he came out one more time and he gave the permission to the one who became a martyr in faith to enter second. Then the guard came out one more time and said to Talha, go back. Your permission to enter is not even here yet. By morning, Talha talked about his dream to all. It was such a unique dream. People were amazed. People were amazed of the fact that the one who died as a martyr in faith entered heaven second after the one who actually died in his bed. And they were amazed about that. And that story was conveyed to the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. The Prophet said, why are you amazed? Why you are amazed of that story? They said, O Prophet of Allah, this man was more dedicated to faith and struggled for the sake of Allah and became a martyr, and the other died in his bed and was admitted to heaven before him. The Prophet said, didn't he live one more year than the other? The companion said, yes, O Prophet of Allah. Then the Prophet said, did he live to witness the months of Ramadan, fast, praise this and that, and prostrated in voluntary prayers? The companion said, yes, O Prophet of Allah. The Prophet said, in response, what is between these two in goodness, in righteousness, in the eyes of Allah, is more than what the distance between the heavens and the earth. Now, my dear brother and sister, you should understand what it means to live and witness Ramadan. Fast its days, follow its guidance and bounties, perform your prayers, obligatory and voluntarily, and glorify and praise Allah, the most merciful, the most kind, the most beneficent. No one will be more honorable with Allah if you live and if you end your life with this righteous status and noble state of affair. That was the difference between these two men. That one has lived another year and had the chance to witness Ramadan, and had the chance to worship, and had the chance to fast, and had the chance to glorify Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the most merciful, which put him in a higher status with Allah than the one who actually died as a martyr. Imam al-Nasa'i narrated on the authority of Talha that the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, said what can be translated, there is no one better with Allah than the believer who lives a long life in Islam, There is nothing better with Allah than a believer who lives long life in Islam. He multiply and grow his glorification of Allah, his praise of Allah, his remembrance of Allah, and his thanks to Allah. So every day passes, and every opportunity you get to glorify Allah is very heavy in the scale, especially as we are about to enter the months of Ramadan. My dear brothers and sisters, as joy and happiness is on the side of he who accepts the good news for reaching Ramadan, fulfilling its guidance, and utilizing its blessed time, you will find the ultimate loss and sadness for he who misses all the mercy, bounties, and forgiveness that are open and available to him from the merciful Allah. Imam al-Tabarani narrated on Usayd of Ubadah ibn Samit, may God be pleased with him, that the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, said, when Ramadan has arrived, in a night like today, in a day like today, as Ramadan inshallah will start this evening, by sunset we will be in Ramadan, inshallah. Imam al-Tabarani narrated on the authority of Ubadah ibn Samit that the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, said, when Ramadan arrived, he said, the months of Ramadan came or come to you, a blessed month. In it, there is a lot of goodness, and Allah is looking over you. Mercy is descending, sins are erased, and supplications are accepted. Allah is looking over your competition in accomplishing good deeds and praising you to His angels. So, show Allah from yourself all the best of goodness, as the ultimate loser is the one who is deprived in the months of Ramadan the mercy and forgiveness of Allah the Almighty. So now is the time for the people of obedience to register their name among the winners in the month of Ramadan. Seek and chase all its bounties and blessings with fasting, performing night prayers, glorifying Allah, and spending in charity for His sake and only for His sake. And to you who were held back by sins and shortcomings, use the opportunity of this blessed time, raising your hand in the darkness of the night, not being despaired from the mercy and the pardon of Allah, the most merciful. Among what bring optimism to all of us, inshallah, gives more hope and energy, what was narrated by Imam Ahmad on the authority of Abu Hurairah, on the authority of Abi Sa'id, may God be pleased with all of them, that the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, said, for Allah in every night in Ramadan, those who are spared, for every servant among them, a positive granted supplication. This is the word of Muhammad, peace be upon him, that give hope for all of us, insha'Allah. So we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the most kind, the most merciful, to spare us the hellfire and to guide us to fulfill in the best of ways the bounties and the guidance of the months of Ramadan. May Allah guide us to be on our best of good deeds, inshallah, in worshiping, reciting, glorifying Him, remembering Him, and thanking Him for all the blessings that we enjoy. Assalamu alaikum, my dear brothers.